Ladies and gentlemen, Big Hairy News.
Hey, kia ora koutou te whānau. Welcome back to Bright Hairy News, the Friday edition of BHN. How are you, Magenta?
I am good. It's been a busy... I've been staring at my computer for most of it, to be honest, working on some of the stuff we'll look at tonight. But it's been good. I always love doing a bit of research, you know. But yeah, I'm glad to be back on Friday. No hat on my head. And
Back
some
to your
memes.
regular self.
Yes, and some memes in my pocket. So I'm
Nice.
sure people will be happy to hear that. How about
Yes.
you? How's your day been?
It's been a busy one as well. Been doing lots of show prep. Yes, got some exciting things, some slightly more fun things tonight. So I feel like we've done all the bad stuff that keeps happening, and I thought we'll step away from all the stuff that's bad, and we'll step into some kind of fun stuff. So should be good. Be a good one.
I'm
hopefully.
looking forward to it.
I hope the people don't mind another episode with the two of us. And yeah.
Don't worry, the
But
boys
Pat
will
and
be
Chewie will
back
be back with you on Monday. So do not fret, my friends.
soon, people, soon.
Soon. Anything exciting planned for the weekend?
Honestly, I've just been trying to get through this week. I don't know. Oh, actually, no, I am going to Garden Magic on Sunday. So Wellington have a thing for 3 weeks. This is the last week. We're up at the Botanical Gardens. They have sound show and they just have performers there. I believe it's Monday through till Sunday. And yeah, they have that 3 weeks. And Wigstock is the drag performances. So I am looking forward to that. How about
Is it the
yourself?
sort of the start of drag season a little bit, or is it just kind of like never ends?
Nah, we're still a little bit off that. We got Pride coming up in a little bit. I guess we're not that far away, really. Auckland Pride will be coming up, and then we'll have Pride down here. So yeah. It's going to get really gay. I love it.
Gonna get really gay. Is there anything exciting planned for this year's Pride in Wellington or Auckland, or is it?
There's always big things going on. We always have the Pride Parade, Pride Hikoi here as well, which is rangatahi led. And
Cool.
yeah, I've actually just got my ticket. I'm going to have to miss one of the Friday shows because I've booked in for a party. So it's going to be good.
Well,
Yes.
I'm sure we can forgive you for that.
Yes, you'll have to.
Couldn't have you missing one of the best times of the year, perhaps, for you, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is my holiday. That's my holiday season. I don't really do Christmas, but Pride, that's my holidays.
Exciting. Before we get into our meat and potatoes tonight, we should probably say a big thank you to our supporters over at... Oh, I did the thing again, guys. I started speaking and I haven't put it on the screen. It's this one. Here we go. And I can say a big thank you to our patrons over at patreon.com/bighairynews. If you'd like to join us, you get sneak peeks of everything that's happening behind the scenes. Sometimes if we do pre-recorded interviews, you'll get those before everyone else. Merchandise, behind the scenes stuff as well. And if you'd like to support us via some merchandise, you can go to the website bhn.nz and you can click on the shop tab where you'll find all of our wonderful merchandise such as hoodies and t-shirts, and we've still got some mugs. So if you're looking for some mugs for yourself to add to your kitchen to support us, these are hand wash only, but they're beautiful. They're bright, and I'm sure you'll appreciate them. and enamel pins, obviously, as well, which, Magenta, are you rocking an enamel pin today?
Yes. And I've also got my PSA shirt on. It's my out at PSA. It's the gay one.
Nice. We love.
So, yes, a couple of days late, but I got it.
And as I'll be mentioning a lot this year, because people are always asking, the Discord link is up here as well. So should be nice and easy for you to find if you'd like to join us on Discord. And there's always some shenanigans happening over there for sure.
Yes.
Right, we've got an exciting one for you guys tonight.
Yes,
We've got a special guest who's going to join us in a second. Then we're going to talk a little bit about this US pulling out of the WHO, the World Health Organization, and a certain somebody was kind of happy about it, unfortunately, which does not signal great things for New Zealand. There's also a bit of a trend online of Bring Back 2016, which I think we should have a quick little look at, because I think Magenta and I will have something to say about that. And then Magenta's obviously got our memes, which we've been missing, and then also we're going to have a look more at the FENS restructuring that is happening that Fleur Fitzsimmons mentioned on Wednesday when we had her. So yes, we've got a wee bit of a presentation, which will be very exciting. But for now, please welcome to the show Greens MP Hūhana Lyndon. Welcome. How are you?
Kia ora, beaming in from Whanganui, kia ora.
Nice.
I'm glad you can join us.
This is exciting. Have you been on the show before, Hūhana?
Yeah, I've come on and spoken about the health agenda of this government as the health spokesperson for the Greens. But tonight, we've been at Rātana Pā today and just finished a really massive community hui here in Whanganui. And I'm really grateful to come online and talk to you about a few things that are going on, and in particular, my members' bill that we launched today at Rātana Pā.
Yeah, that was really, really exciting to see. We're excited to get the meat and potatoes of that one, all the details. Something we've also been talking about doing on a Friday show when we get people on is because it's election year, and obviously we've got candidates and MPs all around the country. We thought it would be nice to get to know our elected officials, or soon to be elected officials. Our list MPs are elected MPs. So if you don't mind, can we do a quick fire Q&A and get to know a bit more about you? So you are a list MP, is that correct?
Based in Taitokero in Northland.
Nice. That was my next question. What is your expertise that you're bringing to the Greens, or we're currently bringing to the Greens?
Well, I come from, I've got a big portfolio, a diverse background, and particularly in hapu and iwi development, primary industries, tertiary education, worked in the health sector for a long time. So I've been around a little bit, and with this portfolio, I come into the Greens as someone based in the regions in Taitokero, but, have led large organisations, coordinated a bit of COVID-19 out in the kāinga. So, I know a bit around engaging with the Māori community, and am really excited by the way with which I was just at this community hui, and I recognised our caucus is from the top of the north to the deep south and everything in between. We've got urban, rural, diversity in our caucus. And so I'm the friendly green from the far north.
Very cool. Very cool. Here's a bit of a fun one for you, just to get to know you a bit better. Have you got anything at the moment that you've, a bit of media that you might be sinking your teeth into? Any books, TV shows, music, anything like that?
I have been pretty busy at the moment. We've been, surviving through this storm this week, but previously I was reading what is one of our reports from the Waitangi Tribunal, because I come from that background, and the Waitangi Tribunal report into the stage 2 inquiry of Te Paparahi o Te Raki. It's a big deal, but basically, just reminding the government that there's been huge injustice for the people of the north, the hapu and iwi, and the findings and the recommendations are pretty strong for the coalition government and any government in handling ngā hapu o Ngāpuhi. So it's been really good to just dive into the word, reread these important reports from the Waitangi Tribunal and remind ourselves of the injustices of the past and the recommendations to the coalition government to right the wrongs.
Nice. Yeah. I think that's, is that kind of consumed your summer a wee bit with some of those big documents?
Kind of, but I did also support the Te Rua Peka Peka 180th commemorations that just took place a couple of weeks ago. I am very active in Hapua Niue, and I'm a descendant of the battle. And that was the end of the Northern Wars in 1845. It's a 180-year commemoration, and I descend from both sides of the pa, those inside the pa and those who fought alongside the Koti Whero. And so it was awesome going home and working with a great bunch of whānau over summer. Lost the summer, but gained so much in terms of that solidarity and strengthening relationships as descendants of this battle.
So I'm sure that filled your cup a wee bit, I imagine. That's cool. One last little question for you. Is there anything that you've had to, I guess like a hobby or an activity that you've had to put down with sort of your job and things being quite all-consuming? Is there anything that one day when you might retire that you're really looking forward to picking back up?
I think what the role has done was enhance, I guess, some of the things that I'm really passionate about. Whether it is whenua Māori, primary industries, education and training, vocational education. But in terms of personal well-being, I must say, the workload is very different. And so, some of those things like, a bit of personal cares around the regularity at the gym and those types of things, they kind of get parked a little bit. So got to always recenter yourself and remember those things around a bit of work-life balance. And I'm not great at it, but it's a work in progress. But appreciate the way that this role enables me to connect back home, but also to bring the voices of community, those issues that are really important in Northland into the House so that the members of Parliament can really understand what the decisions we make in Parliament impact people in the kāinga.
Yeah, sure. Oh, thank you for indulging us a little bit for a bit of a Q&A. So yeah, you've been at Rātana today. How was the mood up there? How's it going?
It's so Rātana kicks off annually the political year. But I really appreciate Rātana because it's a neutral space. It's not like Waitangi. Waitangi's hot. But Rātana, we start off in a neutral space where it is the Hāhi Rātana. So this is an annual event of the Mōrehu faith and recognising and celebrating the birth of Tahu Pōtiki Wiremu Rātana. And the Rātana movement has been active, for what? Nearly 100 years in the way that they have engaged Māori politically, but also centred the religion on both the spiritual realm as well as the physical realm. And so when we go as members of Parliament, it's really nice. It's actually really cool. We can come in, the church and tribal leaders. So we have Ngā Iwi o Te Motu, we had Ngā Waihono i Te Pō, the Kuini Māori, and we also had Tātamu Te Hiuhiu, the ariki of Tūwharetoa had passed, so his whānau came and bought his mate there. And they put very clear challenges to members of Parliament, and then we respond. But it's not in a Waitangi way. It's a great wairua or spirit, and I think it's a good way to kick off our political year. We didn't have our Prime Minister with us, knowing he was out surveying what's been happening in community. And for myself and Taitokiro, I'm grateful he's going to be in my own home community, Whangareru and Ngātiwai, tomorrow, because it's important that he is seen in these spaces and to really understand the impacts. But Rātana is really important in the political calendar, but also for Māori voice. So hence, all MPs from the Green Party were there today, and we really value that relationship of Māori and representation in Parliament.
No, it was cool. Yeah, it was awesome to see all of you guys there. I did see a bit of I don't know if this is typical as well, but I did see there was a bit of the old questions of, will Labour work with NZ first, and will NZ first work with anyone? Is that typical, or is that kind of a bit more fiery than what you're used to seeing?
Oh, so No, that's absolutely it. So we gather as political parties before the big porphyry, and it's like you're hounded by the media, and you just got to gather and get ready for the questioning. So you have both mainstream and Māori media all there jostling because we're kicking off in an election year. And but it was great, like we need to be asked the hard questions, and we need to be able to front foot it as well, because what is the policy? What are your priorities? Who will you work with? What's your campaign looking like? And how are you going to engage with the Māori voter? Really good questions. And because we're in the current environment that we are in, climate and climate impact and resiliency of communities was a theme across the taumata in terms of speeches of welcome and our replies, but also paying tribute to what's happening in our communities right now, and hearts to our whānau in Tauranga Moana and those who have lost life. It's certainly really hard seeing what's happening in our rural communities, but our thoughts and prayers with those who are still waiting to find their loved ones.
Yeah, it's a pretty sad time. Unfortunately, it's not uncommon, it seems. It seems just about every year we're having sort of a post-New Year climate disaster, and it's almost, you kind of get a bit desensitized to it a wee bit, but you never quite, the destruction in that is always the same, if that makes sense. It's always quite big, and there's always there might be a cleanup that might happen. It might take a year, it might take 18 months or it might take 6 months, and then all of a sudden it's hitting the same communities again. So they must be doing it really tough.
It is really hard, and having led our iwi response around Cyclone Gabriel, now coming back into the space as a Member of Parliament, working alongside the marae, the iwi and the CEDAM, those localised responses, it doesn't get any easier. And in particular, it's for those that are uninsured. And our humble rural communities, those who live a humble life, who are used to going without. And that's the point where I'm trying to say to our whānau, you need to tell us what's going on. You need to tell us about what's happened in your home. You've lost your septic, you've lost your water supply, your pump's washed away. These are fundamentals in rural living. And so, seeing people face to face is so important to let them know that you care, but also here's some supplies. And the way that we've joined up in the mahitahi in my area has been really heartwarming, but we still need to improve. I tell you, there's so many gaps, in times of crisis. So how do we learn and improve in the system, but also support the resilience of communities to be able to bounce back from it as well?
Yeah. Before we talk about this members bill that you've put forward, Magenda, was there anything that you wanted to ask or talk about?
No, I mean, obviously tautoko everything Hūhana said. It's awesome to have you on. And I reckon let's just keep going. We've got heaps to get through.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so yes, it was, you guys did announce this bill that you've put forward. Do you want to take it away and tell us what you put in the biscuit tin?
Yeah, so my members' bill focuses on amending the Electoral Act, particularly around the entrenching of the Māori seats in Parliament. Many New Zealanders and even Tiwi Māori don't realise that our Māori seats in Parliament are not protected the same way that our general electorates are. And so this bill builds on previous work of Reno Tirikatene. So he's a big Rātana, Labour MP of the past for Te Taitonga. He sought in 2019 a similar approach to do this, and it was voted down. And I'm bringing it back. Why are we not entrenching and supporting dedicated Māori voice and protecting it? Right now, if you wanted to abolish or change the general electorate, you would require 75% of members of Parliament to support that change. It's not so for the Māori seats. It's by a simple majority. So that could be like 51%, for instance, could abolish the Māori seats. And remembering that these Māori seats have been around since the 1860s-ish, and they have grown gradually, and we've got the Māori seats of today. But they are vulnerable because all it takes is a anti-te treaty government who may not be too favourable about the dedicated Māori seats, as we've seen with the Māori wards and the loss of that across the country. I took it upon myself as the Māori development spokesperson. I was like, nah, we need to bring this back. But also there was an independent review of the legislation that also said Māori need to have more freedom in the way that they choose their position on the electoral rolls as well, because we're quite restricted currently in the way that we can change roles and also engage within local government as well as central government. So my bill is two-pronged. It's about entrenching the Māori seats and so putting up that higher buffer. So we've got electoral equality, which we don't have right now. So it's righting a historic wrong, but also enhances the way that the Māori electoral option for us as Māori voters, we can be on the general roll for, local government elections if we wanted to, or we could pass back over to the Māori roll, depending on the elections at the time. And we don't have that electoral freedom right now. So, that's the purpose of my bill. It's only the start of many things that we need to improve. But I think that the time is right for us to really talk about it in terms of what Māori representation looks like, building on the momentum of, all the campaigning to keep Māori awards. And largely, it was a successful campaign. Even though we did lose a lot, and myself in the north, we lost. We only retained them in the far north. But the community conversation really highlighted some of those gaps again, gaps in understanding, but also the lost opportunity for the continued mahitahi. So I'm calling on all sides of the House to support this legislation. It's an amendment and it's an improvement, but it also provides that equality that Māori do not have within the New Zealand electoral system. And to have a robust and healthy democracy, we need to see the way with which, tangata whenua, underpinned by Te Tiriti o Waitangi, can participate in our democracy. So that's kind of the short version in a long way. But, I think it's good timing that. And I took it to Rātana on purpose because Rātana was strong in campaigning for Māori voice. Tahupōtiki Wiranmu Rātana founded his the religion, the hāhi, on he had the potato in one hand and he had and the paipera tapu, the Bible, and then he had Te Tiriti o Waitangi, and these things move hand in hand. The Rātana movement itself has been fundamental in the way that they have advocated and petitioned for Māori voice and representation. And so Adrian Durafe, who is a current Labour MP, is retiring. That announcement came out of the blue. And I just want to acknowledge him because he's such a wonderful kaumātua and the wisdom that he has. But, understanding the importance of the Rātana movement and in the Māori political landscape, I wanted to announce it there and then begin the campaigning to raise awareness. It's going to go into the biscuit tin, so it's not a sure thing. Just got to sit there and wait that it might be drawn, but the conversation is important. So that's what I'm going to be raising awareness about.
Awesome. Oh, that's a lot of information, but very interesting. I think we're all somewhat aware of it because of what happened at the local election end of last year. Geez, it feels like a while ago. There was very much the conversation and some of the terrible things that happened out of that, but also some of the good things and the good conversations that did come from it. So I appreciate you continuing that discussion, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it comes out of the biscuit tin. But you never know, I guess.
Yeah, and it's political. These are political decisions. Sorry.
So no, I just have a little quick parliamentary question as well. How long do things stay in the biscuit tin for?
They can stay in the biscuit tin as long as you like. So I could maybe do a couple of bills and have them rotating, if you know what I mean. Some people do that. My previous member's bill was drawn, and that was around the Public Works Act and protecting whenua Māori in public works takings. Of course, it was unsuccessful, but I went hard out on it anyhow, and that failed, and it was voted down. This will go into the biscuit tin, and I will wait for it to be pulled out. I might do a bit of advocacy across the House in the meantime to ready my colleagues. But, I think that's the opportunity where in the biscuit tin, these members' bills can relate to our work and portfolios, but also it's an opportunity for us to take community issues into the House in a unique way. And this is something that's outstanding for us as Māori, participating in the New Zealand Parliament. And I think it is about time that we raise awareness for community and iwi Māori ourselves that these seats are not protected.
Magenta, did you have any questions?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know where to start. I just think it shows to me that it feels like every time I learn stuff about how government is put together, it just seems like time and time again, Māori are always put in this precarious space where we're allowed to be kicked around like a football. And it's sad that it takes members' bills like yours. And actually, it also kind of makes me think of Hana's members' bill last year to uphold Te Tiriti. Like, these things are stuff that we're only just talking about. And I mean, to be honest, we're not far away from 200 years post Waitangi. So it's insane to me. And I don't even know where to begin. I just think thank you for actually starting that conversation and pointing these things out, because I think there's so many spots where we don't know any of these things. I didn't know that those were in a precarious space. I didn't realize that they were so easily able to be just taken away from us. They're shocking. That 75% number, I think, is just pinging around in my brain going, that seems mighty unfair.
Yeah. Hugely unfair. And when you do a bit of research, you're like, oh my gosh, we've had these seats since the 1860s, and they've gradually increased in terms of, Māori role and representation. And yet none of it is secure. Like, it just boggles me that somehow it's okay for the general electorates to be safe and protected with the 75% threshold. Yet for us and these Māori seats, which only give us a marginal, 7 seats in representation, we don't even have those protections in place.
Yeah, man, when you say like that, only 7 seats, and they give us crumbs, and yet even that's being threatened to be taken away at times. It's pretty disgusting. So, I just thank you for that bill. I hope it gets pulled out. Fingers crossed. We need something like that, especially at the moment.
One of the things too, I think, is there's heaps of learnings around our Māori wards campaigning, and I took real heart in going around communities and hearing the way that it wasn't a painful process adopting Māori wards. Like, councils had the delegated authority to make the decision. They surveyed their own communities and they adopted them, or they didn't. Some didn't. And adopting them for the last round of elections, and some of them had done them way before us as well, they were really successful generally. And I think that that's a part of the bittersweetness of that, of what the coalition government did to us, and the way that they forced us back to a referendum. Because if they gave it a chance, we only had one rotation, really. We could have seen a lot more fruits in building that deeper connection to Māori community. And, like in times of crisis, our marae open. And they did that again in these storms. We did it in Cyclone Gabriel. We did it in COVID-19. And so the strength in recognising that when times are bad, Māori step up. And, we do this. We can do this in local government, and we do this in our democracy as well in Parliament. And the ability for us to be able to also make decisions around what role we want to sit on in general and also local government elections is supremely important. But we're so restricted in the way that we can exercise, our rights to be a proactive and engaged voter. That's why heaps of people are hōhā. And we've got to wake them back up. This is like one-term government, guys. But, we have to mobilise our voters across the board. And I keep thinking of our young people as well. But because of the sustained attacks that we've had on community, on our most vulnerable, on our workers, on those who sit around the poverty line and those who can't even get pay parity, the pay equity issues. A lot of hōhā has infiltrated community, so it's time to wake us back up. We've got the general election to come and it is action time. So I'm excited to promote voter engagement and checking our registrations, knowing that we've got changes to the Electoral Act that are really going to prejudice a lot of our marginalised communities. So we've got our election day on the 7th of November, and it's going to basically be about Labour weekend around the 24th, 25th of October. If you're not registered by then, you can't participate in the general election. And that's a sincere and deep rip-off for all levels of our community. So we've really got to educate, engage, but also bring up that awareness of mobilising our vote again after, these constant attacks week after week. It is really, really exhausting.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And just to add to that, actually, I think it was someone pointed out that 17-year-olds who are turning 18 when the election comes around, they need to get enrolled to vote, especially if their birthday falls between that period where you can no longer register. So if you know any 17-year-olds in your life, get onto it. Tell them to enroll. They could do it online, eh?
They can do it, and even if we don't, they're not going to make the general election, at least they're enrolled for the local government election. And we need to make sure that people are registered in their right electorates as well, because a lot of us, we leave our details and, they're way out of date and stuff. So there's a number of fishhooks in the way that we engage with community. And that's, I think, a part of this conversation is not just for my members' bill, it is about for voter activation. And now is the time, more than ever. Now is the time.
Yes, good PSA. So you can pre-enroll as a 17-year-old, isn't it? Yeah, once you turn 17, you can start pre-enroll. And so if your birthday falls in that awkward period and you can vote, then yes, do spread the word there. We can't miss out on anyone who would like to vote. That would be, yeah. I'm not a fan of those changes. I don't think many people are. I think that's just anything that makes it harder to vote is not democratic in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and when you think about it, some of our community members, they're out of date, they're living in different addresses. If they turned up to do a special vote, would they even be counted? And then you've got this awesome powerhouse, like our community and our engine room for our economy is our young people. And for Māori, absolutely, 75% is under the age of 30, I guess, 24 even.
Yeah.
If we maintain them being disengaged, that's only good for the status quo. So it's our opportunity to really have these conversations in whānau with your neighbours and community, because we need to get that grassroots. It's more than just likes and love hearts on social media, aroha mai. That we need to really be mobilising across our whakapapa, across our communities, and having these deep conversations, political conversations, to mobilise the vote that we can see a change in government, but also hold those on the left, for instance, accountable. What have you got? What's your suite of policies? What's your manifesto? And who are you going to work with? These are all important conversations. So I always encourage people in community, hit up your councillor, hit up your mayor, hit up your local MPs. Don't be shy if you didn't vote for them or not. They're sitting there in your communities now, and we should all be held accountable, and we're responsible for decisions being made now and the impact, the ripples that it will have on community to come.
Absolutely. And also a reminder to people, do go and talk to them, because they're getting paid for you to be able to talk to them. So, get your money's worth. Actually use democracy. It's great.
And I want to pay tribute to our councillors in local government, just with the storm events and stuff like that. Our mayor being really active, really listening, at the end of the phone, wanting to get out into community means so much to communities that are cut off and that are doing it tough. Same with, members of parliament. Where are you? What are you doing? How are you engaged in this? How are you supporting our communities? These are fundamental questions that I encourage community to hit up local councillors, to hit up your local MPs and have these serious conversations, because we need quality representation across the board, locally, regionally, and in a central government capacity. So I'm up for it. I'm up for the critique. I think it's important for us to be wise voters and go beyond the likes and the love hearts, because that only goes so far. You have to actually activate your vote whānau, similar with local government elections. So that's all a part of the challenge for us really now.
Yeah. An exciting year ahead for you, I can imagine. Is there anything you need to let us know about with Waitangi coming up in 2 weeks' time? Anything exciting you got planned? Or
Waitangi's cool, eh? There's so much going on.
Fire.
It's going to be a firecracker, I'm sure. I am working alongside some of my aunties in the kāinga, and really grateful that, they're saying, we need to celebrate the achievements that we've made in terms of te tiriti activation. Despite all of the legislative changes, community are saying, no, ka hore, no, we stand for te tiriti for our schools. Te tiriti protects te taiao, these types of things. So I'm working with a group of aunties. We're getting our praikete, so you might see the red blankets that we have at Waitangi that have been coming up, and the aunties who activated and turned their backs. We're going to be doing something on the 5th of February down at Te Tau Rangatira, which is where our ancestors sat at the Laua Marae and had wānanga about should they sign Te Tiriti. We're going to bring praikete. We're going to speak and have a bit of a rally about 3 p.m. on the 5th of February. And it's an opportunity for us to do something positive. It doesn't always have to be a protest. And in fact, it's a celebration that we're at Waitangi. It's Waitangi Week. It's big and it's massive. And we've come so far as a community. And I think that a lot of people, if they've never been to Waitangi, they need to come because don't believe the hype. It is awesome. It is live. It's connected. There's so many sights and sounds. And just like what our aunties want to do and our community wants to do is to stand in solidarity and say, yeah, we're actively living and supporting Te Tiriti in all that we do. So no mai haere mai, Te Tau Rangatira on the 5th of February at 3 p.m. And got a bit of kapahaka, going to have some sights and sounds. Some youth voices will be there, and these beautiful praikete that the aunties have prepared for this kaupapa will be shared for Te Tiriti, for Te Taiao, and for us as people. So no mai haere mai.
That's very cool. I think that's something that surprised a lot of us. Went to Waitangi for the first time last year. And that was something that surprised him, being, he's originally from Auckland, I think, but spending a lot of time in the deep south, he sort of hadn't really been to that part of the country and it's celebrated Waitangi. And I think we were all quite surprised, for those of us who haven't been, how much of a festival it kind of is, and how it's sort of a week-long, people around and celebrations and cheers, because most of what we see these days is just what you see on the news, which is, the political side of things up in the Upper Marae, is that correct?
Yeah, the political porphyry and stuff and all the drama, and that comes with the territory, a little bit of hikoi action, all of that, but in between there's art activations. We've got the forum tent, the waka come in on the 6th of February about 9 a.m. whānau. You've got to be there. It's amazing seeing thousands of people just crowd out to see the waka all come in, and the big waka ngā toki matawhaura, over 100 young men on there paddling these massive waka in, and a huge haka and stuff. So it's been a part of my whānau tradition since I was young, and now I have my children. They just take Waitangi week off because it's all a part of their education.
Hell
it's
yeah.
a part of education. Take your mokopuna. It is fun and it is safe and there's plenty to eat. You participate in, and there's activities galore, and from dawn till dusk there's always something going on.
That's very cool. I would really love to go at some point. That's definitely on the list of things. So hopefully, I've got a husband who's a teacher, so that might be a bit of a tricky one, but I'm sure the two of us could make it one day. I'm sure you could sneak it away as well of, it's education, which it is.
Yeah.
Very much
exactly.
so. Yeah. Well, we won't take too much more of your time, but we appreciate you coming on, and I hope you have a wonderful Friday night and a good rest over the weekend, or is there still more to go?
Well, I'll be heading home to help with the cleanup because even though the storms have passed, we have significant cleanup in our kāinga, and pay tribute to the road workers who have been working daily trying to clear the slips. As the slip comes down, they clear it, and then another slip comes down. A lot of our whānau in our rural communities are doing it tough. So I'm picking up the tea towel as I always try and engage, and I want to get out there and help. So that's what I'll be doing before we start Parliament again on Tuesday. It's the start of the parliamentary year, and then we're off to Waitangi after that. So kia mau tonu mai.
Yeah. Well, thank you for all the mahi and the amazing things that you're doing, and good luck with the members' bill. And hopefully the cleanup goes well as well.
Kia ora.
Wonderful. Thank you. So that was Hūhana Lyndon from the Greens coming to join us this evening. It was fascinating stuff. Magenta, anything else you wanted to, anything else you wanted to, any thoughts, I guess?
Oh, yeah. I mean, to be fair, I was just having a good time. But actually, there was one little actual small video I wouldn't mind us having a look at. It's kind of in relation to kind of what Hūhana was talking about not only the floods, but kind of, I guess, maybe ways that different people look at nature and how we could maybe take a different approach. I'm just going to pop it up here. It's probably already playing, but I'm just going to refresh it. You see nothing?
Now it doesn't just pour, it floods. Tāne Mahuta, the god of the forest, took many wives. From them came all the life of the forest, the big trees, small birds, the unseen things that hold it all together. The sixth wife was Rērenō, mother of the vines, moss, and the forest floor. Her children drink the rain and feed it to the ngahere through the dry months. But the tini a Rērenō is no longer there. Pigs, deer, goats, and change have eaten her children bare. The ground is compacted and dry. Now when it rains, it hits hard and runs straight to the rivers. Rērenō's children are the older siblings of mumuhangas, the big trees. They are the vines that brace them in storms, the web that holds the ngahere upright. Without them, the rain doesn't just leave the forest, it takes the trees with it, and the ngahere loses its memory of how to hold water. Māwiwi whenua, māwiwi tangata. If the land is sick, its people will follow.
I also just realized there was music in that, so hopefully that doesn't get us in trouble. But I just thought that was really interesting, because obviously I that's all new information to me, because guess what, wasn't immersed in my culture growing up. But I just thought it's really interesting to see basically the knowledge that Māori hold about how to kind of, keep balance with nature, allow things to be safer, like the relationship that the whakapapa that it has, that's basically science. That's what I guess in Western we call science. And I just think it's really sad to see that because of the things like, pigs and deer that have obviously, and like in general farmland and farming has disturbed a lot of our biodiversity and our ecosystems. So I just thought that was, just some interesting knowledge for us to add to this very Māori Friday, which I'm loving.
No, it's very cool. So you made, it's a really good point, because I think that conversation's often forgotten that a lot. I suppose it's a lot more prominent here in Christchurch because of the earthquakes, and because a lot of the eastern suburbs, I think it's the eastern suburbs of Christchurch, a lot of them are now, they're all red zoned. So essentially they made a decision to not rebuild on them because they're all wetlands. And what that's meant is that we actually have this massive green space, which we still see it in areas that are built up around the Avon. But out towards the eastern area, you don't get as much flooding because you've got wetlands now, as opposed to all concreted housing. So the land is doing what it was always supposed to do, which was to be a big wetland, a big swamp, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
So I wonder how much of that, I don't know, I imagine there's conversation around it up north after things like Cyclone Gabrielle as well, where they're asking the questions of what should we be rebuilding on this land, because, you know, it was once forest, it was once wetlands and swamps, and, you know, are we using it in the correct way? Is there a way in which it's better to do if this is the kind of climate we're now living in?
Yeah, and that's exactly it, is that a lot of this could have been avoided if people had listened to people long ago, but we can't really dwell on that. We do just have to say, hey, can we actually do something about it? Can we have politicians that would prioritize, you know, ensuring that people are safer through climate mitigation and adaptation? So, yeah, conversations that we'll have to keep on having. And it sucks to say I told you so when it comes to all these climate events. It's just depressing, because it's like, I don't want to be right. I would prefer, like, people in Tauranga to still be alive. I would prefer, you know, people in rural regions not be cut off from power and water. But yeah, it's rough.
Yeah. But important conversations to be having, and I can imagine they're not going anywhere.
No.
Yeah, for better or for worse, really.
But it's also good to see the community get banding together.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, that's always the one glimmer of hope you can find.
Apologies to Mike, we didn't get to your super chat, but was asking, would you go for a Māori seat, or is this something the Greens are not looking at? I think she did say, was it her Māori seat was taken or disbanded?
Oh, no, so that's for the Māori ward.
That's the Māori ward, yeah.
Yeah. So not Māori electorate. All I can say is I'm sure you'll find out soon, because the Māori Rōpū have not voted on our candidates yet.
There you go.
So that's all I can say.
Soon, my people, soon. Kiwi Bird for $2 says, very late fee, kia ora Auntie Hūhana. Hope you enjoyed that one there, Kiwi Bird. Rightio. We've got a few stories to get through tonight. So I'm gonna leave that one for later, because I can't be bothered. We're on a positive vibe. Let's just ignore her. Let's just ignore old man Winnie for a second, and we'll come back to that if we've got time. Rightio. So Magenta and I were actually playing with some of the features when we were discussing over the New Year break, coming back to BHN and thinking about what the year's going to look like. I thought we could play with some of the features. The features that we were playing with. I can remember how to do it. So you know how we looked at the poll feature?
Yes. Polls.
Yes. And we also looked at the there's a goals feature as well.
Oh,
which
polls and goals.
Polls and goals. Polls and goals, boys and girls. So
I can't do polls, but you can do polls.
Thought we could try it out, which could be kind of fun. So
Hell
I can do this. Oh, and you can. Oh, darn it! We were supposed to play with the Q&A one as well. Wait, what does this one do? Okay, there's a Q&A one, but okay, I'll come back to that one in a second.
Damn.
So we can start a poll.
Used that earlier.
So, we're going to do a real basic poll tonight. We're going to do when should we do memes? When should we do memes? And then we can go yes, no. We'll do yes. We can do now, or we could do End of show. There you go.
Hell yeah.
So now you can vote on
memes.
whatever one you want. So this is for those who are on YouTube. Apologies for if anyone's on Twitch. I know you can do them through
Yes,
Twitch
we do
as well.
have our
But
Twitches. But yes, I don't think it works.
we do love you.
Yeah,
but for now,
sorry.
it's an inbuilt YouTube feature that we're just gonna do a quick play around with.
But also
is
shout
there a
out
way
to our
pop
Twitch
that?
watchers. We've had a consistent Twitch viewership this week, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, I do love me Twitchies. Oh, and I can see the results as well.
Oh, the results.
44% say yes,
Just yes.
which basically means whenever, I think. Oh, well, we're fighting between yes and now. I wonder if you can put this on the... I wish you could put this on the screen. It'd be great.
Yeah, actually, I probably could.
This is fun.
Just have to go.
Stinky pistol watches on...
Oh, actually, no, I can't. Never mind.
Ah, yes.
Sorry.
Okay, the general consensus is between yes and now. So I think next up we're going to do memes. How does that sound?
All right.
Run.
Or we can
run
do half
live with
now,
that?
half later. You know, dose them out. You can also dose them out if you want.
That doesn't make any sense. It's 42% yes. Oh, no, yeah, no, those numbers do add up. Ignore me, please.
Yeah, you got 3 options.
All right, 3,
3
2,
memes? Oh.
1.
Meme. This one I
We're
made
ending the
myself.
poll. We're doing some memes. We're doing half now and half...
there was so many times in the Discord where people were just like, so when are we getting those live streams back? When are the boys back? When are they coming back? When are they coming back? Yeah, it was awesome though. It was great to see how much we were missed. Bro, you know I can't seize your ghost means of production. Feels bad, man. This one hits a little hard. I loved this edit that they've gone for a Labour red for Christmas. So we just got vote Labour, I heart Chippy, vote Labour, and ditch the pricks in 26, which is
I love that.
I've been seeing. Yeah, it's been. I think that's one of the chants going around. So I'm sure we'll see more of that this year. Anger as suspect in $100 million jewelry heist avoids trial because ICE deported him. That's a loophole. Oh yeah, this isn't a meme. This is just a news article. Liquidation hits 15-year high as 2025 proves brutal for struggling firms. Business confidence. And actually, yes, someone's gone and put his best quotes up there. You got out of touch, largely absent, weak, invisible, ineffective leader, inauthentic, and self-interested. And then Susan responds, and those are his most positive traits. Which, oof, they kind of are. And obviously, since he was, God knows what he was up to over Christmas and everything, because he just straight up disappeared until he told us he's working from home with a Spotify playlist. I do like this here, though, you know, height. Spine is also unaccounted for. Wearing Trump's tan around his lips. Identifying characteristics. Looks like a cancer patient's dick.
Jesus.
Brutal. And then we've got, who wants 3 more years of Seymour running the economy? Ditch the pricks in 26. I do like it.
Oh, yes, please. Can we get that going the rounds? That would be great.
Absolutely.
This is I want that to be our next Nikki no votes.
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
my wish for
I'm down for
26.
I'm down for
Can
that.
we make that? Can we make that?
You
picture?
made Nikki no boats.
I didn't make it. I facilitated it.
Yeah, you made the picture. So there you go. There's your homework.
That's my homework, is it?
Or
Ditch the
maybe
pricks in
Kiwi
26?
Boob's homework. Maybe Kiwi Boob will do it. Also, nothing is normal. No one is okay. You're doing great. I just thought everyone might need to know that. It's hard times out here.
Inspirational Skeletor.
I will never get over the fact that Nicolas Maduro being kidnapped looks like Dr. Disrespect. And I love the fact.
Yes.
I love the fact that he was like, stop linking me this. It's not funny. It's like, nah, it is pretty funny, bro. People don't like you.
It's so, unfortunately, it just made him look cool.
Yeah, it kind of did, which is funny because I don't think Dr. Disrespect's cool. So that's a crazy, like, I don't know how that works, but it does. Oh, yes. The falling of MTV happened over the holidays. So RIP to the music TV. Also, someone put this in the Discord on the 1st of December. Happy New Year. Wrong. The happiness of the upcoming year has been yet to be determined. To which this was the next meme. Captured. So, yeah. Thanks for jinxing us. That was great. And then what do we got? Oh, yeah. And did you hear?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. JD Vance. Apparently, he doesn't just hook up with cushions or was it dolphins? I can't remember. And oh yeah, have you seen AI News? There's like AI News, like whole like Facebook pages and stuff that are just pumping out this cringe. Like, how is this supposed to be Grant Robertson and Nicola? Like, it's just insane. Also, it's like talking about someone who's not even relevant anymore. This was just so weird. But apparently, this is just something that's becoming more and more popular. So if you've got any older loved ones out there, make sure that they're not, liking and following and having this kind of stuff turn up in their algorithm. PSA. This was from, I think, earlier in the week, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Beautiful.
Stunning.
Oh, yes, we have the fully finished Brokeback Mountain, which we saw a sneak peek at last year. So that's the memes. That's the memes from the holidays.
Well, I've got a fun one for you. So there's a super chat goal thing, right? And you can set a goal for super chats and set a timer. And then there's a share how you'll celebrate. So I'm going to be really mean to you guys. And I'm going to put... Unless we get to this goal, you do not get the second set of memes.
Oh, that was all the memes. I didn't know if we were doing half or not.
Oh, no!
I can find something. Hold up.
No, I don't know how we're going to celebrate.
Oh, no, guys. I ruined M's plan. My bad.
You ruined it. Okay. I've got one. Okay, so later on, next we're going to talk about 2016 nostalgia. Okay? So, Magenta, without your consent, if we make this goal, which now I'm going to make it even higher.
Are we showing pictures of us from 2016? Because I got one ready.
Okay, you've got one ready?
Yeah! I thought you might do this.
Though? Best or worst?
I mean, 2016 wasn't a great year for me, so it's probably one of my best. But I can find one of the mid ones if you want.
No, that's fine. So there you go. Ems and Magenta. I'm seeing the goal pretty high, guys. So
2016
Ems
reveal.
And Magenta will share baby 2016.
God,
photos.
calling me a baby when I'm like 21 in these. Yeah, totally.
All right. There you go. I've set our super chat goal. If you're on YouTube and you're sending in super chats, I'm just saying that's what you got to do if you want to see those.
Hell yeah.
I'm using their features.
Let's do it. Why not? We can practice with silly stuff so that we can do more serious stuff later on in the year.
Exactly. Well, now that we've had some fun with that stuff. Right, so let's get into the second story. So something that I saw, it was Taylor Lorenz who brought this on the map for me. She is an independent journalist over in the States. She famously was one of the first people that got kicked off of Elon Musk's Twitter when he took it over for criticizing him. I'm pretty sure it was her. I think it was her and a few other people. And she does a bunch of sort of a little bit of the far right, but also kind of looking from a more of a pop culture lens sometimes as well. And one of the videos that she put out recently was talking about why everyone is suddenly obsessed with 2016. So there's currently this this is it a hashtag? I guess that's going around.
Yeah, I guess hashtag trend. Like, it's just a general
hashtag trend. Yeah, I think it's just hashtag 2016. I think
it's just people having mean nostalgia because this year sucks already.
Well, yeah. So herself and who was it? The Matt Bernstein, who is he looks a lot like what's his name? Charles.
Charles.
Oh, the beauty influence.
Oh, James Charles.
James Charles. I was going to say Ray Charles. I'm like, his name's not Ray Charles.
That's Charles. Ray Charles is a completely different famous person.
Exactly. I was like, it's definitely not Ray Charles.
Someone make the meme. Make the meme, please.
Sorry, James Charles. He looks very much like him, but that aside. Matt Bernstein is a political commentator, and then Kat Tenbarge, I've seen a little bit here and there, but I actually don't know what her... Thanks, Taylor. Kat is an incredible journalist and author of Spitfire News, and Matt is an iconic podcast host and content creator. There you go. That's the little bios. But she asked some of the questions, and they have some really interesting discourse as to why this meme, why this trend is popping up, and why people have this nostalgia for 2016. And they also look at, I think there's a slightly political angle to this as well that Matt goes through, talking about how kind of there's a bit of obviously you've got the breakdown of democracy happening in America, but also there's a bit of in the far right, what happens after Trump, because I think everyone's kind of looking and going, Trump's dying, basically. He's a really old man. Being the president ages you. He's very senile. I think nobody is blind to the fact that he's got some medical issues and some mental decline. So I think the right are also kind of looking at, like, what does post-Trump right look like? And the left are also kind of going, with all this shit happening, do we need to pivot? Like, well, they do. What do we need to do? What do we need to change? So there's a bit of a weave into politics there. If anyone's like, why are we looking at social media stuff? Well, it's important, okay? It's still very important.
It's all connected.
It's all connected. Social media is politics. Everything is politics, right? Something like that.
Exactly.
So the first wee bit is Loren's asking, why do you think 2016 nostalgia is going viral? And Kat gives their take on why that is. Can I go full screen? I can go full screen. There we go. And then I press this button. Nice. There we go. Oh, okay. I muted it. Almost there.
Almost nice.
Why is it going viral?
And I do think that 2016 was the first of what ultimately became a lot of very bad years, and probably we're still in the very bad years.
Yeah, I also think that if you were trying to do a look back at a post 2020 year, because the internet has gotten so fragmented and culture has gotten so fragmented,
hang on. That's not my right timestamp. It's 48:27. Hang on. Right. There we go.
Has become this now nostalgia trend where it's really inciting feelings in people.
One reason I think that it's going so viral is because I also think that a lot of people's camera rolls and social media presences were really in effect in 2016. If I was trying to do nostalgia for let's say 2011, my camera roll on my phone doesn't go back that far. I would have to revisit the archives, physical archives. But in 2016, because this was an era that was so social media focused, it's much easier to just find stuff from that year to post now. I also think that currently January 2026, the news cycle is so bad. I think people are really grateful for a moment of levity among like seeing so many images of ICE, so many images of violence, the idea that World War III is about to kick off. Like all of this political like discourse that's happening right now is so brutal that I honestly think that contributes to that rose-colored glasses feeling of like, oh, but 10 years ago things were so great.
Well, we've seen around.
They were so good. The next, well, I mean, that's kind of obvious. I think everyone can point to the fact that things are so shit. That's why everyone's looking backwards. Jesus Christ, that was a decade ago. I'm so old now. Social media is so old. The next wee bit was discussing also the fact that it's very much a Gen Z millennial thing, and that's because we're all very online. And like Kat just said there, like we all have our social media has existed long enough that we can, as Magenta and I just said before, we can go and find those photos very easily.
Mine goes back way further than 2016 too.
Oh, mine also go back further than that, but we'll keep it somewhat.
That's a different goal. That might be a patron goal.
We'll keep it after I'm, 18 years old, just to keep things, reasonable. Maybe after 20.
People are weird.
People are weird. Yeah, no. People are weird. So yeah, that's the next bit they're going to discuss is, I guess, sort of that mourning for childhood and for Gen Z and young adulthood for us, our 20s, our beautiful 20s. Well, at the end of our 20s, well, the start of our 20s. Well, yeah, we kind of lived our 20s through the last worst decade, so maybe not.
Yeah. We're only just starting our 30s. How old are you trying to make us? Damn, girl.
No, I was more so thinking like, yeah, pining for the old days, but actually 2016 was the beginning of the end a little bit. Anyways, so we'll chat about that soon.
It also seems like, I don't know, there's this like collective grieving to it. People will be like, my worst day in 2016. And it's like you wake up on the beach in Venice Beach and you're flipping bottles and having a fidget spinner or whatever, and it feels like a lot of like, honestly, like Gen Z people maybe like mourning their childhood, and also like millennials are old now. Like we're old. And I feel like it's like a mourning of our youth as well, of like, wow, we were so innocent at that time and like we actually had it really good. Now millennials are becoming into their like late 30s or 40s, right? Where it's like the stakes are higher, things are real. Gen Zers are approaching the age of 30, which like in culture is this sort of milestone. And it just feels like a lot of people, like these two younger generations that have been denied, honestly, so many signs of adulthood, finally like recognizing that they're like old, basically.
Ouch, called out.
I got ID'd yesterday for wine. I'm not a part of that group. Leave me out of this. Leave me out of this.
Good on you. Is it continuing? Oh, continuing on. All right. So this is Matt's slightly more political take on the whole thing. Talking about the sort of next decade, or what the position, the place that we're in now. There's kind of two camps. I think we've talked about it quite a bit, but the camp of everything's about to turn to shit, and then the pessimists that we're all, I think more aware of. But then there's a slightly more optimistic view, which I also kind of sit in the camp of like, okay, well, if social media is dead, in fact, well, in the form that we once knew it, it's now AI and all algorithms. It's taken over by a lot of political figures. It's just no longer this fun influencer that whole thing, monetization, etc. Cancel culture going way too far, but that's the whole nother conversation of like, where is the line between all of that and the good and the bad. I kind of sit in this camp also of like the future, like what does a different social media look like? Can we take things from the olden days and kind of reinvent the internet without all of these like oligarchy tech companies and stuff? But I'll let Matt talk to that a little bit, because I think he has it much more concise than I do.
I also think, to me, and this is like the hopeful part of me, that there's like a retro-futurist aspect to it of like, let's get back to this. Like things have been really, really, really bad, increasingly dire for 10 years. And this just might be the New York City, like, newly elected Zoran bubble that's surrounding me. Fine, I'm willing to accept that. But I'm hopeful that we are watching in real time a sort of collapse of an era. It's obviously a brutal and violent collapse in this country, but like, I think it's undeniable that, for example, like the Make America Great Again movement, the best years of that are behind us. And now it's very clear to anyone on any side of the aisle that the right is scrambling to figure out what is the future of the right. And I think in there's also room for the left and anywhere left of center, right? Leftists, Democrats to come together and decide what is the future of an actual opposition. And I know I'm making this entirely political, but like, I do think
I think that's very relevant here as well, of maybe not so much the right. I feel like the right, because we kind of lag behind America, the right are kind of falling into their new normal a little bit. And it's just the Overton window is pushing further and further right. But I think we're also in that pivotal moment of looking at, specifically here in New Zealand, we're looking at Labour and we're going, are you going to step up and be the opposition to that? Are you going to be bold like we've seen candidates over in America have been successful? Like Zoran is a great example of someone who's very obviously socially democratic and like has these bold policies that are anti-system and anti-capitalism, quite like obviously, you know, things like freezing rents and childcare for 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds and like city-owned grocers and things like that, and making the city actually affordable. Like these are very, very they're communist policies. Communism bad. I'd say they're probably actually within the capitalist system. They sit probably more in the socialist system, but you know, socialism and in communism, all bad. So you can see that people want those policies and they've voted for them over in the States, and obviously New Zealand's quite different, but I think we are also in the same position and looking to Labour to wanting them to be more bold so that they can differentiate themselves against something like National, or a party like National, who are moving further and further towards the likes of ACT and New Zealand First, whether or not it's just because they're in a coalition together and they're being forced to, or if they genuinely see that it's the right way to go. It's the new leadership, it's the new MPs that are coming through into the front benches. I don't know, but I feel like that commentary is very relevant here of like we're at a turning point, and we you know, America's obviously got its shitstorm that it has, but we are not alone in our own shitstorm, and I think that's something that we need to think about as well. Any thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I was kind of thinking about the 2016 thing, and I find it hilarious because does anyone remember what the most popular meme of 2016 was? Or the most popular phrase that was defining 2016? Any guesses? It was the hashtag fuck 2016 because everyone said it was shit year because we had Brexit, we had Donald Trump's first fucking stint, which was obviously kind of the beginning of the end, to be honest. We lost David Bowie. Obviously, we had a lot of celebrities, a lot of big, celebrities dying that year. There was people hated 2016. Like John Oliver did like a whole big like thing. I was gonna try to find the video, but I can't be bothered. But yeah, no, it's just funny to me because I'm like, we all kind of agreed that year sucked, but now that things are obviously so much worse, it's like when we kind of go, I kind of miss John Key. It's all that same kind of like, you don't know what you had till it's gone. Things keep getting worse because that's the only way capitalism can work. Is it space? We all realize it's just a pyramid scheme, right? Yeah, cool. It's just a pyramid scheme. And MLMs suck. But most of our like entire world is set up with just really, really rich MLMs. But yeah, I think kind of, I guess in that I'm kind of thinking of this election year as our 2016. I think this election year, if we fuck this up, I think that we have a lot bigger chance of going down the road that America really started to fall down once all of that. And yes, I know there are plenty of things that have been happening before that were leading up to it. I've seen a few comments from some of your older ones going, oh, but this thing. Yeah, I get it. We have our own frame of reference because we've only been alive for 31 years on this planet. But in our 31 years... That's why we're not the boys. Exactly.
We're the kids.
Wait for the old guys to have the old guy perspective. I also think...
Oh, don't say that.
But also, we are kind of like, we have to think about it as that, you know, the younger generations really going to have to live with whatever the hell we end up in. Like, you know, those old fogies that are making decisions that are going to fuck us all over, they're going to be dead by the time that happens. They're not going to see the consequences. They're not going to see anything. They don't give a shit. They'll be gone. But like us, we're all going to have to sit here. And that's why for me, this year is so important. It's also why, like, I know I've been talking to other people and saying, like, as a left bloc, we need to stop getting so nitpicky with some of the conversations we have around certain issues and actually just go, you know what? As long as we align on our core base kaupapa and our ethics of, you know, being people first, being planet first, then like the details, we can iron those out once we're in government. But this year, we really like, whether I like what Chippy says or not, I want to be able to work with him. That's why I get annoyed. And I want us to all be able to work together. But when one of them, being Chippy, often just seems to be shitting on the other two, it's like, come on, man. We want to work together. Like, maybe let's present a bit more of a united front, you know? And I've heard that sentiment said by quite a lot of people, actually, over the break. And yeah, that's why for me, this election feels so crucial. And I mean, if we're paralleling, like, you know, referencing 2016, I guess this is our 2016 election, and we can't have our own Donald Trump situation. We can't let this spineless motherfucker stay in here because he will let David Seymour absolutely ruin this country. And I just think, yeah, we got a lot of work to do. And I guess like Hūhana was saying earlier, it's great that we watch, like you guys come and watch and we have these conversations. And it is great when you like the stuff, but it's also even better when you say share some of these things with other people so that they can start having these conversations. Or even if you don't share our stuff, just talk to people about these things. Just strike up conversations about, you know, what do you think the biggest problem is for you, and then see how maybe Labour or Greens are going to approach that. You know, talk to them about what actually matters fundamentally and kind of start at that point. Don't get stuck in the weeds of certain specific, you know, I guess, details of some of these things. Just get them to the side and we can slowly and very gracefully just start pushing this window a little bit further back and a little bit further back. And yeah, also a little organizing and mahi. We're going to have to be willing to all put our actual hands and feet or whatever skill we have and whatever thing we have actually into it, not just having these conversations, not just having these chats, taking them outside and making them real world kind of actions, I guess. Yeah, that's my rant.
Right, well, a little bit of optimism, I guess, to end this little segment, talking about the other side of things. And maybe this is not just the downfall, it's the reconstruction, and maybe we're going to take some of the things we liked about 2016 social media and reinvent the internet, which I think is a lovely sentiment and something I think about quite a lot.
There is a sense, at least among my friends and I, that like...
Oh my god, I miss Tumblr. Tumblr was such a vibe, man. Let me go back to Tumblr. I know it was problematic, but I'll go back to Tumblr. But there are other things we can look at.
At least among my friends and I, that like there is a future ahead of us that could look better because we are at a time of transition and a time of reinvention in all sorts of ways. And looking at 2016, to me personally, it brings me a feeling of like, what elements of this could we get back to? Not a monoculture, but maybe a culture where we're all more connected than we've been for the last few years. Maybe a culture in which we're reaching out to our neighbors more. Maybe a culture in which, I don't know, we just like share more of a reality than we have. And again, maybe that's wildly optimistic and you can tell me, Matt, you're full of shit, but let a girl dream.
I mean, I think so.
Communism. That sounds like communism. And it sounds amazing.
Looking up
I love
to one
it.
another, community, what?
Exactly. And that's the thing is, I think what he's really getting at is that we need to decentralize. Like everything all comes from such a central core that it's really hard to have those, community spaces. Like it is great to have the ability to have, centralized forms of communication and things that can be essentially passed to anyone wherever. But you do also need to have your own little communities. Like I think Discord being popular is kind of a really good example of that, is that, you can create these different spaces to kind of have who you want in there, to be able to have different spaces to collaborate and talk about things or do things, especially in, we haven't always been able to get out of our houses, so we do have to sometimes find mediums. But I do think that, decentralizing the internet, decentralizing it's a big thing, but that's a massive conversation that I don't think a lot of people are ready for, to be honest.
Nice. Yeah, so that's my little fun one for tonight.
Hell yeah.
For our goal to see our wonderful faces, I put a timer on it, so you've got 7 minutes.
7 minutes. Oh.
And it has to be. I set it quite high, so I'm not gonna do it for nothing.
No, absolutely.
Cheeky. Right. Well, Magenta, you've got a fun little presentation for us.
Yes, I do.
You do.
Let me just drink some water.
I do love the graphic that you've used, so I'm quite looking forward to this.
Thank you. I made all of this today. I've pretty much I was sat in front of my computer from about 1 o'clock today and didn't really get off it till before the show. But it was fun. I learned a lot. So I decided to call it What the Fens, because just came up with that, thought it sounded fun. A little mini deep dive into the Fens timeline and some data, because obviously y'all know how much I am a big advocate for our firefighter and emergency services. And I learned a lot that I don't think a lot of us will quite understand. So we actually are going to start under the Labour administration. And for anyone who doesn't like Labour, you'll be happy because I'm going to have a gripe with them in the beginning of this. So we start at the 8th of March 2019. Firefighters want their blood as well as training sites urgently tested for toxic chemicals from firefighting foam, because tests showed a chemical in the foam which was supposed to have been banned in New Zealand in 2006, had contaminated groundwater at Motunui at levels just above drinking water guidelines. And this, obviously 2019, when it was supposed to be gone for well over a decade. Then we come into 2020, where ACC launched a new tool to help assess firefighter occupational cancer claims. But they did note that this was only one step in the right direction, because ACC's current legislation allows cover for firefighter occupational cancer under work-related gradual process injury provision. And due to that wording, it excludes all volunteers, including volunteer firefighters. And we'll see soon, volunteer firefighters are the majority of, they take up a big bunch. And then in 2021, government says ACC cover for volunteer firefighters would be unfair. And this is where Cherry Flintoff, whose husband Brett had died of cancer in 2018. And she told the government that it is only fair and it must include volunteer firefighters. She also went to go on saying volunteer firefighters are filling what is essentially a government role and in the process are saving the country billions of dollars by doing so without pay. Cipollone said, providing cover for one group of volunteers and not for the remaining volunteer population would be misaligned with the scheme's purpose to provide fair cover. Which I personally think is an absolutely disgusting take. Like, firefighters who are volunteering to run into burning buildings? It wouldn't be fair, because then they did compare these to some of our like surf life-saving volunteers. But we also don't have police volunteers, which is an interesting thing that kind of just noted in my head. We do have some community kind of thing, but it's not quite the same as the way we have volunteer firefighters. And then in 2022, WHO says firefighters risk cancer. New Zealand Union wants it recognised. The World Health Organisation's Cancer Research Branch has defined firefighting as a Group 1A carcinogenic risk, the highest rating possible. The New Zealand Professional Firefighters Union said cancer is the greatest killer of firefighters globally, but many struggled to get it covered by ACC in New Zealand. And then in June of 2024, 2 years later, a report finds volunteer firefighters save the country $820 million annually. The bulk of New Zealand's fire and emergency services funding comes from a property insurance levy, with the government also providing a small goodwill contribution. The Fire and Emergency Service in New Zealand is largely reliant on the contribution and goodwill of volunteers, their employers, and the firefighters who themselves are self-employed. Volunteers are not free. And so this is from that report. So I thought it would be interesting to note that over in this infographic, you'll notice that we have 559 volunteer stations. I mean, a majority of which we could argue are just mostly rural. Like, yes, there are some around the centres, of course. But in our paid stations, we only have 43 paid fire stations. Yeah. Versus 559 volunteer stations, with 36 composite stations, which are a mix of volunteer and paid combined. 86% of the frontline fire and emergency New Zealand workforce are volunteers. Another infographic that I think breaks it down beautifully is that we have 11,832 volunteers and only 1,807 paid firefighters, with 1,138 support staff. So that's a lot of firefighters that we are just finding volunteers for. I don't know about you, but I thought this was kind of fucked up when I learned this. Did you know this? I mean, I'm curious.
I could only assume because I know a lot more volunteer firefighters than I do employed. But also the St. John is quite similar as well in terms of the makeup of volunteers. Although it is 80% government funded and the last 20% is as charity. So I'm not 100% sure if that was the same as the funding model for FENS.
But yeah, that just and obviously the association represents 14,000 members, paid, volunteer, urban, rural, industrial, defence, and Cook Islands.
I think considering the amount of, especially in our dry season, how many wildfires we have, I would assume that they would start to bulk up the number of permanent full-time staff or even just paid staff.
I think you should go work for them because that sounds great.
Fighting fires.
That's a great idea.
They're critical for accidents. They're critical for so much more.
I mean, everything going on in the north and Bay of Plenty.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, those are their emergency services. And as it here, we got a breakdown. So you got 42% of volunteers attended structure fires, 70% of all motor vehicle incidents were volunteers, 71% of all medical emergencies were volunteers responding, and of vegetation fires, kind of what you were alluding to there, 85% of the firefighters that respond to that are volunteers, and volunteer firefighters respond to across 93% of New Zealand's landmass. Like, just putting these numbers together today was blowing my mind, guys. And so this is what the recommendations were at the end of this report. They believe that funding for volunteers must be protected and enhanced to sustain their vital role in this essential service. Funding needs to be targeted to ensure volunteers have the appropriate level of equipment, training and support for them to meet local risks and needs. We've been seeing a lot about our aerial fire trucks and breakdowns of trucks all across the country, and that this should not be at the expense of what employed firefighters also require and deserve. Along with operational funding, substantive capital investment is also required to replace aging fleet, equipment and buildings. And so we go into April 2025. A petition supporting change to volunteer firefighters. ACC eligibility reaches 30,000. So the petition to Parliament, which was launched by Catherine Lamont from the Queenstown Volunteer Fire Brigade, said 12,000 volunteer firefighters were excluded from certain ACC benefits because they were classified as non-employees. Then on the 10th of November 2025, parts of Tongariro National Park were reduced to ashes in a huge blaze. Huge wildfire in Tongariro National Park is expected to have significant impacts on biodiversity. The large fire on the Central Plateau broke out on a Saturday afternoon and had triggered evacuations of trampers, residents, including Whakapapa village. Firefighters had been battling the fire for 3 days, which had since grown to over 2,800 hectares. And these are obviously just a couple of images of just some of the massive spread of fire. And just 10 days after that one we just read, concerns over proposal to axe wildfire specialist roles. There you go. So you said wildfire and I was like, we're getting there. Staff were told last week of proposed changes designed to slash 50 million, which, let's be honest, that's fucking chump change, from fire and emergency and annual costs. More than 140 jobs could be cut, which Fleur Fitzsimmons, obviously that's something that they had pointed out, could be cut if the changes go through, including 6 wildfire specialist roles and 45 in its prevention branch. Prevention. So you know that really great idea you had about maybe just amping up the stock? I think they're doing the opposite, so maybe you should go work for them. And then there was a quote in this article saying, we're getting more and more wildfire conditions or preconditions occurring. You only have to look to our cousins in Australia, California, and what happens in Europe now almost every year to see that human habitation is increasingly being threatened by wildfires. Then another 10 days later, ACC has disbanded its toxicology panel that firefighters take their cancer claims to. Cancer claims were now assessed by an occupational doctor registered with AFOEM, who could call an extra expert advice from its clinical services team or further afield, said acting chief, which makes me feel like they're just trying to be able to find different doctor shop their own specialists. Definitely wasn't giving me good vibes. In the article, they also went on to say that it'll be seen as a blow for advancing the cause of getting coverage for volunteer firefighters in some circumstances. And then this part absolutely blew my mind. ACC told a select committee the cost to cover volunteers might be just $250,000 a year. but it feared a precedent would be set for having to cover surf lifesavers and other volunteer responders, Dunn said, despite not being exposed to the same toxicities. Only $250,000. And what? They're scared that maybe, hey, we should actually, I don't know, be giving some form of remuneration to people who are jumping into waves and saving people from rips in the ocean. You seen what the ocean's been up to recently? I just was disgusted when I read that number. Oh, pardon me. Got anything to say? I'm going to drink for 10 seconds.
That is such a little number. Sorry, I had to get an emotional support animal because that was starting to make me sad.
I feel that.
I feel like everyone else needed an emotional support animal for that. $250,000 a year. That's so minuscule. Like, I for a second thought, yeah, 250 million. No, that's 250,000. I was thinking, well, you know, oftentimes we see, you know, little things here and there where it's 250 million to cover this. It's 500 million to cover this. It's 50 million to cover that. 250,000 is fuck all for a budget. For a government agency. Like, that's...
I don't get this weird thing of like, oh, well, everyone else will want it. No. It feels like the same thing of when they were like, let's not let the gays marry because then they'll want to marry their dogs or something. Like, I don't know. It just has the same kind of dumb energy. It's, yeah. And then we go to the 13th of November. Fire and emergency restructure, biggest in its 8-year existence. FENZ is telling workers to do more with less, which will impact FENZ's ability to deal with emergencies and prevent future emergencies. The insurance industry argued it should be funded from the government through taxation, just like the police. Otherwise, property owners were the hardest hit. Even the insurance industry is on the firefighters' side. And the PSA counted over 40 roles to go in both operational response and risk reduction. Yeah, let's just get rid of those people. We don't need risk reduction. Then we get into the end of the year. ACC petition for volunteer firefighters rejected by Parliament. While we are sympathetic to the petitioner's arguments, we are concerned about the precedent that extending ACC cover to volunteer firefighters might set. We did not consider it practical for all types of volunteers to be provided with ACC workplace coverage. We would like to take the opportunity to express our heartfelt gratitude to all those who volunteer for this important and challenging work. Like, scummy. And then, as obviously friend of the show Fleur Fitzsimmons told us that unions to challenge FENZ restructure proposals at Employment Relations Authority. But I've got one last thing to show you folks, because this comparison to the police really got in my brain. So I did some numbers. I made these. So these are your training salaries and basically all the ranks below them that I could find in publicly available information. Okay, so you can see trainee salary, 10,000 less for fire and emergency. First 2 years after training, similar to their first year after training, about 26,000 difference, and that's not including the fact that the police get what they call an operational shift allowance, essentially allowing them to buy things while it's an allowance for like lunch, I guess, and all those kind of random things. Or like, I guess maybe if they had to buy some things down the road, whatever. But yeah, so the fire and emergency don't receive that. Qualified firefighter, even after 2 to 4 years, is still making less than a police officer their first year after training. A senior firefighter, which is 8 years plus of experience, gets about 14,000 less than your average salary in the police. Yeah. I mean, those are the numbers. It's pretty sad to see that we so clearly do not value our firefighters at all.
Yeah, Jesus.
And then this last one is just, I could only find 2021 data. So they do have what they call a mess and meal allowance. But as you can see up here, it's not exactly a lot. And then down here, you can kind of see that the way that the pay scales for fighters is essentially they treat it like a percentage. So that trainee firefighter, which these are broken down into weekly wages and some slightly different, I guess, categorizations based off of extra paper or extra work things you've ticked off. But yeah, you can see here, a senior firefighter only gets about maybe about $470 a week more than a trainee firefighter. Which, like, yeah, don't get me wrong, $400 a week, that's like a lot of money. But these senior firefighters need to have at least 10 years experience to get the 102.5% pay scale. So, yeah, that's my picture, guys. It's not a great picture, but I think it's important data for us to know, because like I think even just the amount of volunteer firefighters alone is kind of a mind-blowing thing that I just still can't get over. Like, we should not be our firefighting system is built on the backs of volunteers. Like, let's be real, that could crumble at any moment, especially given what's going on at the moment. People are struggling to work, and our volunteer firefighters generally have jobs that they're doing. So, yeah, it's just a depressing state of affairs, but an important one to keep an eye on. So yeah, we'll hopefully be able to do more of those. I'm hoping to I'll try do one type of thing of these a week, but it'll really just depend on what's going on. And if people have stuff they do want me to kind of focus in on, let me know on Discord, or Facebook. We've got the Facebook group, Big Hairy Neighborhood. And yeah, like leading up to the election as well, if there's stuff that you guys don't feel like you understand, like we're hoping to do some kind of maybe, 101 how to quick learn kind of election politics type things. So just let us know what you want. There's the Bright Hairy News part in the Discord or the Facebook. Yeah, so hope y'all enjoyed that. Even if it's depressing. Sorry.
It is depressing, but it's important to know, for sure. For sure. Good things to understand. But if you ever wanted a reason as to why public servants or people in public service or public service adjacent should unionize, that's why. Because unions lobby the government and they fight on behalf of all workers to get them the rights that they deserve. So someone like Fleur, for example, from the PSA, the Public Service Association, is doing incredible work through the legal system to help these guys get what is much deserved. So
absolutely.
But yeah, shout out to all of our volunteer firefighters and for all their work over the summer, especially because it's a pretty busy time for specifically a lot of rural stations around the country, especially down here in sort of the Canterbury, Otago region as well. Lots of dry wildfires that have broken out and will continue to be an issue every summer. So
sure will.
Yeah. Support unions is the takeaway there, guys. Support unions. You can donate to unions. I'm pretty sure you can encourage people to join their local union. Encourage people to.
If you see any firefighters, just go up to them and say thank you. I appreciate the work you do. That's true. As something as little as just going and saying thanks. Yeah. Because, I mean, people don't do that, especially when you're working like these days. So people really appreciate when you just kind of make the effort. Oh, what did the cat do? The cat's... Has Trump kidnapped Emily? Is this Trump's next victim? Is he trying to take down BHN from the inside?
My cat,
Oh, no.
My cat wanted to be let out. She's been
Parental
sleeping in
duties.
the corner, gave her cuddles, and now she's gone out.
Yeah, she got what she wanted.
Not outside yet.
Yes,
Gotta wait
no,
another
Ems
week.
doesn't have any oil, so we're safe. We're safe.
I wouldn't want my oil.
Oh, I don't like the way you said that.
Ignore that. Scrap that. All right. Well, the only other story I had, I'll just put this on your radar, but let's be honest, no one's surprised about any of this. Trump has officially pulled America out of the World Health Organization, which is something that he signaled a year ago that he was going to do. He pulled his funding back in 2024, I think. America owes like $200 million of funding for the WHO, which is not surprising anyone. So even though they've left the World Health Organization, I think they still owe them money. So, but today it is official.
Oh,
And
yes.
surprisingly, somebody put unsurprisingly, Winston Peters put out a post somewhat congratulating, applauding the US for doing so. His post on X read, "This is what happens when a bunch of unelected globalist bureaucrats are not accountable or responsible with worldwide taxpayer money." With the US withdrawing its membership, it puts into question the current state of the World Health Organization, its effectiveness, and if our taxpayer money is being responsibly spent overseas instead of here at home. So clearly positioning himself favorably to what the Trump administration is up to. So don't forget, we can praise him for some things, we can hate him for other things, but at the end of the day, the man is a populist, and he's old.
Absolutely.
And more often than not, he aligns himself with Trump. So don't be fooled, my friends. Do not be fooled.
Not at all. Also, I believe I've just received something. 1 second. We get 2 cats.
Oh, he's
One
so
show,
beautiful.
2 cats.
Oh, he's so beautiful.
Yes,
Oh, look
this
at him.
is my baby. She's
he's little.
She's not little. She's 7 kgs, man. She's fat.
Yeah, she does look big. My little
All
cat
right,
is a little
you can
cat.
leave.
She looks like a big cat.
She's trying to take my buddy Mike with her.
Wriggling out like. Oh
Nah, she got her leg stuck on the bloody cord.
yeah. Typical.
I want to show you something 2 seconds real quick though, because after the IT thing that you talked about with us, I was going back through the Discord and I saw this one. Did you see this one?
Yes, I did
Yes.
actually. I forgot that happened.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So more
that one slipped, eh?
tech, yep, which I just thought was so funny. Also, one that slipped under my radar is apparently the Transport New Zealand are warning that tolls for existing roads might be double dipping. So,
Oh yeah, but they were making it cheaper. Wasn't it user pays and making it cheaper? They were getting rid of the tax on petrol or something, but then also low user road charges. I can't remember. I thought it was supposed to be getting cheaper or something.
load of
I don't know.
bullshit. And I mean, making roads, toll roads that have already been built. I mean, it's bad enough they make roads with fucking taxpayer money, then continue to toll them afterwards. Like, I do understand to some degree, obviously, maintenance costs. Absolutely. But let's be real. A lot of the damage that gets done to a lot of our highways and roads is from heavy trucks that are shipping commercial goods because capitalism.
Oh yeah, that's it. Rucks. Everyone has to pay a ruck now or something,
Yes.
or soon. Road user toll charges. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the one.
God forbid we live in a country that is based around roads and requires most of us to have access to a car.
I would
Jesus.
agree. Mainframe owns Parliament. There was also a quick PSA. I don't know if you guys know, but gold clams are on the move at the moment and they're extremely invasive. So if you're around lakes or rivers and you see what you... I mean, we can play it if you want to have a quick look. I don't mind.
What the hell's a gold clam?
All right, well, let's find out.
Wind up in our lakes will never be the same again. This is the gold clam. It's a freshwater pest species that's already wreaking havoc over in the Waikato River. Overseas, these clams have caused the extinction of native species, and millions of dollars are spent every year trying to control them because no country in this world has ever successfully eradicated this clam once it's arrived in their waterways. We don't want to see that happen here. We don't have the clams in our lakes yet, and we want to keep it that way. But in order to do so, it's going to be a team effort. Firstly, we need more awareness. I need you to tell everybody you know, your mum, your kids, your aunties, your uncles, your cousins, your everybody you meet on the street, anyone that you see, especially around our lakes, and especially anyone who's coming in as a visitor over Christmas period, please let them know that there's a pest that they need to be on the lookout for and that they need to be aware of too. Next, if you're planning to spend time on our lakes this summer, we need every single person to be on the lookout. If you see something, say something. Even if you're not sure, if you see some sort of suspicious looking shellfish in the water, please just take a photo and send it to us so that we can confirm, and if it is, we can get on the problem immediately. Thirdly, if you're a boat owner, a fisherman, a keen water skier, or you have any form of gear that you want to bring onto our lakes this year, make sure you're following the check, clean, dry process. As long as we all do our bit, we can keep this clam out and have an awesome summer enjoying the lakes that we all know and love.
And yeah, don't eat them. So yeah, that's we have the hornets. I believe are still a problem in Auckland.
Oh Jesus! Don't even get me started on the hornets. I already lost my shit over that.
Yeah, mate. And we've got the clams. So yeah, if you going out, you see any of that? Obviously, I just thought that was an important little PSA to put in front of you. I also saw this comment about me using an ad blocker. I can use ad blockers, but actually, just so you guys know, if you're watching here on YouTube and you're using an ad blocker, it will not count towards a view on BHN. So I am asking everybody who uses an ad blocker, please turn it off while you're watching. At least, please, because every view really does count. It does change how we are seen in the algorithm, you know. They love to push stuff that everyone's looking at. So just a bit of a PSA if you hadn't heard about that. YouTube's really cracking down on ad blocker. Obviously, I try to use ad blocker as much as I can personally, but I've stopped using it when it comes to YouTube. Just unless you've got a YouTube subscription, then that's a bit different. You're kind of paying and contributing towards it. So yeah, that's it. My pick.
Wonderful stuff. All right. I think we should play out the episode.
Oh, we got a couple of
oh, shoot. Hang on. No, we've got super chats. Can you go through them quickly while I sort out my cat?
Yes. So Tricknut for $5. Who invited the bald jellyfish to the mount? Oh, that's right. He's the PM. Yes, no, I did. I find it interesting that he only really started talking about and looking at all of the natural disaster issues after people died. He didn't really seem to give too much of a fuck before that, but hey, better late than never. We got Ruru for $10. Thanks, Ems and Magenta, for holding the fort this week. Good job. Oh, thank you. I hope you guys have had a good time with us this week. I have definitely enjoyed it. We had Peter Syme for $2. Is it too much to want a solar punk utopia? Yes, I'm sorry. In this economy, that is too much. E. Grant Wright for $5. Chippy could be rolled so Labour can work with Winston. Oh, horrible to contemplate. Don't put those thoughts in my head before bed. My gosh. Tricknut for $5. I was blown away the day that someone tipped me $50 for being a cleaner. Yeah, no, I can totally understand that. And I mean, obviously tipping culture isn't really something here. Also, Big Old B, it is an actual biscuit tin. I needed to save this. If you don't know, the biscuit tin is a real biscuit tin. And yeah, it was just someone's biscuit tin they bought in, I believe, in the 70s, I want to say.
Wow.
And you can even buy merch of the biscuit tin. You can get like pins and a whole bunch of stuff. Like the biscuit tin is one of my favorite fun facts about New Zealand. If you want to blow people's mind in other countries, just tell them that we pull like potential legitimate laws out of a biscuit tin. It's great. We also didn't have gold here tonight, so just a reminder, 288 days. Thank you for putting that in there. I really appreciated that. Also love this comment of, we need to change the narrative from unfortunate and complex to unacceptable and priority. And I totally talk with that. We definitely need to make all these things a priority. And that's our chats gone.
Nice.
Look at that. All in time for 11.
All in time for Christmas.
Oh, how do I get that off my screen? There we go.
Righty. Well, that's us for the week. Thank you for having us. I hope you appreciate us bringing you the BHN experience for the week while the boys are off having a lovely break. Well deserved. Yes, Pat and Chewy will be back here on Monday. Your favourite boys. The kids will disappear. And we'll be back with you next Friday with the kitties. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, it's so fluffy. Oh, the cuddles. My cat is still really upset with me because we moved. So she still doesn't give me the cuddles anymore. And I'm really sad and I want my cuddles back. But anyways, soon, in time. Oh, beautiful, beautiful puss.
Yeah, she's a big fish.
She's a chunk, or she's a beautiful chunk. Oh, you're distracting me. Yes, anyways, the boys will be back next week. We will see you at 9 p.m. next Friday. The boys will be back with you on Monday at 9 p.m. So enjoy some more mature... Well, so I don't know.
Fuck off.
Burping every 5 minutes is exactly mature, but
and saying TP on my bunghole.
The men are mature. Yeah. Their actions and behaviour maybe not so much. So
the old guys.
I hope you enjoy that.
And also don't forget, if you're in Wellington, the 31st of January, we are going to have a Wellington meet-up at Gibbons Hotel. So come hang out with us. It's on Facebook and Discord. My cat's trying to get in front of my face.
All right, it's time to go, I think. I think that's what that's saying.
Help us settle a debate, whether it be thoughtful or funny, even if we're all creatures of hate. It's a fine line that we're walking together. For better, push aside the temptation to berate. Let's take a note of the corners we stand in. As many points as the hairs on my chinny chin chin. When the news that we're watching is hairy, knowing all the things that we need to be wary of. Like the rich have their hand out for rewards, while the many have to work at what they can't afford. And the rest of us ain't paying attention, or maybe have questions we're too worried to mention. Other media is still dwelling on trivial facts, vetting peas from the rice and the mice from the rats, and picking and choosing a warpath to run, and linking ourselves with the hill to die on. It's gotta come down to a welcoming vibe, with an A and a self and a higher in mind. All have a lean either this way or that, and will be analyzed by what Chewy and Pat. With the evil in the world trying to mess with your head, and you're sitting on the couch, you're thinking chivalry's dead. Each night, 2 nights, they're gonna sing you to bed. It's Big Hairy News.
Thank you, everybody, for watching us this week. Thanks for joining us for the Friday show, Bright Hairy News, and we'll see you next week at 9 p.m. on Friday. Boys will be back with you on Monday. Magenta, anything to say before we go?
If you're around the Discord tomorrow night, we're probably going to be playing some games. So come hang out. Probably be later in the evening. Don't know what time, but come hang out. Keep cool to after school, whānau.
Sounds wonderful. All right, have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Look after yourselves and stay safe. And we'll see you next week. Jenny, bye-bye. Bye. That's fucking how I did it again. Jesus Christ. One of these days. No!